Epic Mickey Rebrushed is a remake of the 2010 Wii exclusive Epic Mickey, which I never played, but according to various Steam reviews, Rebrushed apparently added quite a bit of content and wasn't a straight port. My first issue with this game was performance. It crashed on me 3 times and was sometimes a little laggy, and some Steam reviewers wrote they also had performance issues, and as a result I had to turn the graphics down, but the game looked pretty good even with that. Next up is story. It was quite interesting and has multiple endings, following the story of Mickey Mouse after he accidentally caused the thinner incident in our world by spilling a paint thinner jar into the world of Wasteland, a haven for forgotten Disney characters created by the wizard Yen Sid, thus damaging the world and creating the Blot, which literally drags Mickey into Wasteland where he must defeat the Blot and find his way back to our world. Along his way, Mickey is accompanied by the gremlin Gus, who offers tips and a little bit of direction throughout the game. Throughout his journey, Mickey will meet a ton of people, both characters who played minute roles in old Disney cartoons and generic NPCs, in addition to trapped gremlins and Oswald, who gets off to a bad start with Mickey, but they become friends over time. That's all I'll say about him, as any more would spoil the story. Discussing the various NPCs, the gremlins are usually found trapped in cages and will reward Mickey for freeing them, be it giving him gifts or helping him on his quest. While most technically can be ignored, a few are required to progress in the game. The other NPCs will usually either just talk with Mickey, or will give Mickey side quests, or are storekeepers. This game had a heavy incentive to complete side quests, as they actually impact the ending of the game, much to my surprise. Not like on a game such as Skyrim, where you can just ignore a side quest if you don't want to do it, and it has no impact on the story. In fact, a lot of things you did had an impact on the ending of the story. Against most bosses, you could either defeat or befriend them. Obviously, befriending them has a more positive impact on the story. I just wish I realized that a bit earlier in the game. Also, most enemies in general can be befriended or outright defeated. Now we're moving on to the topic of combat. It was quite interesting. Mickey has 4 attacks: his spin attack, jump slam, and ranged, paint, and thinner attacks. As a whole, melee attacks are really just to give you some space, as only a couple enemy types can be outright defeated with melee attacks, unless you push an enemy off a tall ledge or something like that. Most enemies must be erased with thinner or befriended with paint. There's more incentive to befriend them, as doing so will make them fight for you for a little bit. And this game had a ton of enemy variety. So much, I honestly don't remember them all. You had little blot bear things that bum rushed you, blot mops that slung thinner at you, big blots that tried to eat Mickey, etc. Scattered around the world are a ton of items you can collect. Quest items, tickets used to purchase items, pins which did nothing, art concepts, film reels which could be redeemed at the theater for rewards, hearts to restore your health, etc. Moving on to the level design, Epic Mickey Rebrushed has a semi-open world in which sections are separated by films, side-scrolling platforms, sections based off old Disney cartoons. You must play through them the first time traveling among worlds, but afterwards you can pay 10 tickets to skip them. One criticism I have with this game was no real fast travel system, other than paying to skip the films, as you might have to go through a couple sections or towns to reach your destination. And the only real time saver has a price tag on it. I don't know if they ever changed it, but I remember this being a complaint people had with Fallout 76, having to pay for fast travel. And this is only half a fast travel system. It just lets you go from town to town faster. It doesn't take you to your final town every time. This actually leads me to another negative with this game: the Guardians, little orbs floating around Mickey. With a maximum of 3, these are earned by either painting or thinning items in the environment. A plus of these is you can command them to attack a nearby enemy. You can also have them show you the path to your next objective, but it only sorta worked, as it just tell you your final destination in an area, not the actual objectives themselves. Not really sure what they were going for here. There wasn't much of an upgrade system in this game. You'd sometimes earn paint or thinner capacity upgrades after defeating a boss. Depending on whether you thinned or painted it, you'd earn an upgrade on which one you used. You also received a couple health upgrades along the way. I would also like to add that doing most of the side quests, this game took just shy of 12 hours to beat. Although I read the original can be beaten in about 8 hours if you focus solely on the main objectives. And that's it, Epic Mickey Rebrushed. Earns an 8 out of 10 from me based off my grade scale. Now I kind of want to play the second game. A final note I wanted to add apart from my review is I got a limited collector's edition physically for less than buying the game digitally. Not 100% sure how that happened, but I ain't complaining. Well, that's all for today, folks. For anyone new here, I mostly play, review, and discuss zombie and horror games, with sometimes other topics like today. Feel free to let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Always remember that Jesus loves you all. Peace.